If there's copycats or what, but what's your takeaway when you look at the fact that 16 vehicles have some type of either bullet or projectile, some type of evidence of that in the last 2 weeks?
Well, you've clearly got somebody who has got some grudge. To be honest, counter-sniping is about outthinking people. So I would imagine at the moment the police are doing the best to try and get inside this person's thought process. It really doesn't matter how many resources you throw at it. If you haven't got somebody who's smart enough to get inside that person's head and therefore work out what he's trying to achieve, you're not going to get there. So I'm sure they're doing that right now. There is a lot of, from what I've seen, and bearing in mind it's very limited, there's a lot of evidence already that there is already somebody carrying out a copycat, so there could be two. One is clearly a full caliber weapon, the other could possibly be an air rifle. And the longer it goes on, the more chance you've got of other people copying.
And talk about why it's clear that there might be a copycat, because is it the case that a sniper is not going to go from a high-powered rifle to a BB gun?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the clear indications. It's the good thing about sniping is, or the most difficult thing about sniping is, you could do that on purpose. If you want to throw the police off, you could do that on purpose. In this case, I don't think it is. I think somebody has seen it and is basically copying it. It would be very unrealistic for a person who's intent and had access to a full-bore weapon to then switch to an air rifle. So I would suggest there's probably somebody copying already.
And do you, from what you've been able to see, does this person seem like they're trained, or that at least the ones with the bullets, does it seem like they're intentionally missing hitting a person, or what's the situation?
My initial assessment would be that they're not professionally trained. Professionally trained snipers rarely miss. I don't know the distances they're firing from, but if they're firing an air rifle, it really isn't that far away. So the lead of a moving vehicle, the closer you come in, the lead is less. It's not going to be that difficult. Professionals tend not to miss. That said, if someone's being really clever and they're looking to continue that lack of trust in the police, it would be very easy to be bad at the beginning and then suddenly get very good. So again, it's a case of taking all the evidence you could possibly get and then very quickly trying to work inside somebody's thought process and what they're trying to achieve.
Should the public be scared of driving, or is this...
Again, the police will know more than I do, but whatever this person is trying to achieve, one of those is going to be disruption. If you then force everybody off the road in the DC sniper incident, clearly they did that. That has a huge effect on the economy, and it will start to affect the economy of Phoenix. Certainly we drove down I-10 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon today, 3:30. Road was a lot more empty than it was normally. So I would suggest there's an effect already. Should you be cautious? Absolutely. I mean, if somebody's taking shots at moving vehicles, you can't afford not to be.
Now, you're obviously one of the best snipers probably in the world. So when you think about, if it were you and that was your job to hit a moving vehicle going 60 or 70 miles per hour, you're saying you wouldn't miss. So I guess my question is it possible that this person, like you said, is intentionally missing? And what would that purpose be, though, to intentionally miss?
It's always a possibility that they're intentionally missing. And again, it can be a multitude of reasons, one of which is the person wants to be famous but doesn't really have a desire to kill people. So he may be missing on purpose just to scare people. It may be that the person is an amateur and therefore doesn't understand the correlation between the moving bullet, the ballistic, and the moving vehicle. Or it could possibly be, at your worst case scenario, somebody who is making the police look stupid at the moment and is going to step his game up later.
And so from an expert, if this person were an expert, they could potentially hit a driver as they're driving. That wouldn't be hard. Very
easily. So it wouldn't be difficult.
Okay, because I think that's the thing that people say, well, even maybe if he's a sniper, maybe because it's going so fast, it'd be hard to hit a driver. But you're saying that for a trained sniper, that would be easy.
That's not a difficult shot, especially when you're looking at the distances involved. You obviously have very large roads over here. And one of the scenarios we teach in our company as a counter-terrorist skill would be that it would be very easy to bring a city to a standstill by doing exactly this, by just hitting random civilians on an interstate at rush hour and then going somewhere else, because it's very difficult to stop a sniper. The police, it's going to take them a while to get a handle on this. It's going to take them a while to do very good detective work and bring it to an end. But it would be a very easy thing to do to bring Phoenix to a standstill.
Any other takeaways that, as you're seeing anything that you think that police, I don't know if they've called you already for your expert opinion, but that you would give to the police for advice at this time?
To be honest, what you need is, and I'm sure they've got it, you need a very experienced sniper sat there, because, as I said, no matter what assets you've got, unless they're coordinated by someone who is breaking into this thought process and work out what he's trying to achieve, it doesn't matter how many men and cars you've got out there, you're not going to do it. So the only thing really is, and again, I'm not sort of throwing them under the bus or saying they're not doing it, because I'm sure they are. It's about getting all the information together. It's good old-fashioned police detective work, but it's got to be done by somebody who understands how a sniper thinks. Even if this person is not a sniper, he's clearly focused or interested in the subject, which means he's probably read a couple of books, maybe watched a couple of films. He's got some sort of expertise because he's hitting a car. So even if he's not in the driver, he is in the car. And as I say, I don't know how far away he's firing from, but if some people are saying that some of the shots have been taken by an air rifle, he's not that far away. The average velocity for 177 is less than 1,300 feet per second, so he's going to be fairly close.
So you said getting in the mind of a sniper. What is the mind of a sniper?
Well, it really depends on what you're looking to achieve. Everyone thinks that a sniper's main weapon is the rifle. It isn't. The sniper's main weapon is my ability to frighten everybody, because you can't hide from me if you don't know where I am. So nobody is safe. One of the very important things that the DC snipers did as far as planning was concerned was they hit every race, colour, age group across the entire spectrum. So there was nobody that could say, hey, have a nice day, he's not shooting at me. So that terror was spread across the entire region. If you look at this case now, there appears to be no pattern of who he's shooting at. He's shooting at just random cars, so everybody is at risk. So what a sniper can do is get inside somebody's head and terrorise an entire community, even a city as big as Phoenix, and disrupt almost the entire economics of the city by just making people late for work, making people not go to work, parents keeping their kids off of school because they don't want to take them through that risk. It's a very easy weapon to use. It's a very difficult weapon to stop.
Okay. And we're just going to go a couple of shots. I find this whole...
Haven't gone to ground. They've got a little bit more bold today. So eventually they're going to get overconfident. And depending on how the resources are put out, then it depends how quick the police are going to catch them. But you've got to have someone in that process who can see that, can see the pattern. There's always a pattern, and it is about sitting down and analysing all the information and finding the pattern. There was a pattern in the DC sniper attacks. You've got to have an experienced sniper to sit there and say that.
So even though it looks chaotic and like there isn't a pattern to the public, there's an intention behind it.
There will be a pattern. Now the person doing it may not know they're setting a pattern, but there will be a pattern there. And it's only another sniper that's going to see that. It doesn't matter how good a police detective you are. If you don't know how a sniper thinks, you're not going to find him. You've got to have a sniper sat there saying, how would I do this? Because there's only so many ways you can do anything. And a sniper will know what he's trying to achieve, what he's looking at doing, where he can be. There's even down to this person is planning where he's shooting from. He's not just randomly turning up and taking a shot and driving off, because he's going to get caught too quick. So this person is carrying out a reconnaissance. Reconnaissance are obvious if you know what you're looking for. So it's all there to be found. But if you're not looking in the right place and you haven't got the correct mindset, you're not going to see it and you're not going to find them.
And then I'm just going to ask one more question. Closer. So there's probably 2 or 3 or who knows how many people out there because they're using different weapons. So how do you really crack this case if there's different copycats and stuff? I mean, the most dangerous one obviously is the one using the gun. Mm-hmm.
The copycat will quit either very soon because they'll start worrying about getting caught, or the first chance that it looks like they're going to get caught. The main person who's actually using a full-bore rifle or a full-bore gun, handgun, whatever it is he's using, or her, there's nothing saying it's a guy, is set on a task and is probably going to get caught. It's unlikely they're going to stop before they get caught. That can either be through a mistake or overconfidence or good old-fashioned police work, but they'll get caught because the pattern will eventually, arise. How good the police are at spotting that pattern is going to depend on how long this goes on for. I have no doubts at all they're throwing as many resources at it as they possibly can, but you need somebody in there who knows what they're doing.
Anything else? else you'd like to add, or that we should be thinking about?
Not really. It's just a case of this person is. It may take the police a while to catch them, and the only thing I can ask on their behalf is for everybody to support them. It's not an easy thing to do, and there'll be a lot of experts coming out saying, "Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that?" It's going to take time. The thing about counter sniping is you have to get inside somebody's thought process, and it may be that unless you have suspects, they may have suspects. I don't know that, but unless you have a suspect, you have to find somebody from the entire area of Phoenix that's doing this. And there are going to be little clues and mistakes that this person is going to make that will eventually add together to form a pattern. And then the police will have a better chance of saying, okay, this is the area he is operating in. He operates at this time of the day or that time of the day, every other day, and eventually he's going to set a pattern that they will find and they'll catch him. Or, as in the DC sniper incident, it's going to be just pure luck. In that case, you know, the report went out of what car and vehicle they were looking for, and it just so happened that a truck driver looked out of his window in a rest stop and the car was right in front of him. Called the FBI hotline, and obviously HRT came down and arrested him. But that was just a member of the public. Information is the biggest thing. The police don't have enough eyes. So if the public were going to do anything, then the police need to educate them on what they can, you know, the information that they can release, and just people be vigilant. You know, and if you see something, say something. You know, there's nothing wrong in calling police and saying, listen, I may be wrong, but this guy, I think, might be involved, or this vehicle is acting suspiciously, because the police are going to want to know. And the more people that help them, the better it's going to be, without risking lives, because this person is clearly dangerous.
Do you think they have a profile already? Like,
it's possible. I've heard talk that you know, they've got the gang crime are involved, or the gang unit are involved, as well as the FBI and various other people at the SWAT team. It may well be that they have somebody in mind. And bear in mind, it could be something as simple as someone who's just upset at the police, someone who's upset at, you know, ADOT. Some of these people pick up guns for the strangest reasons. But if I was going to lay a bet right now, I would say this isn't a professional. Or it's a very good professional who's leading people the wrong way. And that's your worst case scenario. But you'll know that because people will start getting hit, and they'll start getting hit on a regular basis. At the moment, the number of shots that have been taken, that have been admitted to, there may be a lot more, I don't know. But the number of shots that have been taken so far with no hits, it's not a good success rate. And success rate and failure rate is one of the factors that will come into building that profile. If it's a professional, it's unlikely they're going to miss.
wow, okay. So we don't know if